when you beat the #1 team in the country, I think that's a significant accomplishment. I was really proud of the way our players competed in the game. I thought the defense did a fantastic job. The turnovers were huge. To have the 3 interceptions, the 3 turnovers, all sort of drive stoppers. And, offensively, we struggled a little bit in the second half. Didn't move the ball with the kind of consistency we needed. I thought at the end of the third quarter we were really tired on defense, which, was a bit of an issue for us. But when we needed to put a great drive together on offense and answer the bell and score to make it a 2-score game, the offense put a great drive together. Blake made 2 critical, third down conversions, in that scramble conversions, in that drive. But, this is a really good football team that we played today. And, really, really hard to stop. And I think our defense did a fantastic job of, holding them to what we were able to, 13 points until, 15 seconds to go in the game. And we were trying to shrink the game in the end. Been great to stop them, but we did it well enough that even if they would have got the onside kick, they wouldn't have had a whole lot of time to score. So, I can't tell you how proud I am of the way our players competed in the game, and you got to give Mississippi State's players a lot of credit. They really came out in the second half and played outstanding football, and they're a great team. And we kind of knew at halftime when you play teams like this that they're going to come out in the second half regardless of what happens. A little bit like the Auburn game, Cam Newton game here. We got ahead 24-6 or whatever it was. And they came back in the second half. That's why they're good teams. That's why they're #1. But our team's showing that they have an ability to do that, and we made plays when we had to make them today. And I think that was a sign of great competitive character from our team as well.
Just wonder what you saw from Blake on that last touchdown drive and what he's been able to do kind of in these kind of pivotal moments.
Well, he did a really good job of executing. We dropped a couple balls, that made it more difficult for us in the second half. But on that drive, I already mentioned the 2 third-down conversions, but he did a good job of getting us in the right plays and really did a good job of executing. Our consistency on offense, we just have to do a little bit better job of creating balance and, controlling the football against a team like this. When we knew in the game that we needed to control the football so that they wouldn't have the ball. They had 88 plays, which is, too many. In my opinion. But the way that they don't have 88 plays is we got to get a few more third down stops, and they converted 3 times on 4th down. And we also have to control the ball on offense and do a better job offensively on a more consistent basis. But it was one of the greatest drives, in Alabama history probably, to go down there and make it a 2-score game, in the 4th quarter.
Aaron on the right.
How healthy was TJ tonight, and what did you see from, particularly you mentioned the drive, but your running game really got going that drive?
Well, I think it's the key, man. I think when we can run the ball, it makes a huge difference. In the passing game, it makes a huge difference in explosive plays. We made a couple explosive plays in the first half, probably didn't make enough in the second half, but we were able to run the ball when we had to, and I think that's a real key for us. And I think for us to be able to improve on that and continue to be able to do that is going to be a real key for us in the future in terms of being able to be successful against some of the really good teams we're going to have to play.
And TJ?
TJ, I thought he played well in the game. Probably wasn't as explosive as, normal, but the guy's a true warrior in terms of was no way you're going to keep him out of the game. He wanted to play, and hopefully we'll be able to get him healed up and he'll be better here, down the stretch if we can give him a little time off, the next few days to try to get him healed up.
Michael.
A lot of talk during the week was containing Dak Prescott all week. How do you think you would assess the way you guys contained him?
Well, I think that, you can talk all you want about their quarterback, but, they've got a good running back. They've got some really good wideouts. Number 6 is probably as good a tight end as we played against all year. Four, who has missed a couple games, is, really a quick, explosive guy. Number one is a really, really difficult matchup problem. And then when you couple the quarterback runs and the formations and the ability that you have to be able to cover their skill guys, it is a real handful. This is a really good offensive football team. I think probably the best offensive teams. It's the best offensive team in our conference statistically, but probably one of the best in the country and definitely one of the most difficult to defend. And it is because of the quarterback's ability to throw as well as run that makes it very difficult. When you get in those 4th and 3, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situations, when the quarterback can run the ball and he can pass it, it's a tough day's work to get him off the field.
Their first two scores on either side of the half, both field goals. How important was it for threes instead of sevens there?
Well, we had a couple of those, early in the game too, when, we missed a field goal that would have put us to 22, which would have made it a 3-score game at the time. And I think we had a 3rd and 11, right after that miss, that we played zone and they converted, and then they went on down and scored their first touchdown. So playing well in the red area is critical. Getting turnovers is critical. I think those two things probably were the difference in the game for us, today in terms of stopping their offense.
On the left end.
How much more do you trust Blake to make the right decisions in terms of throwing it away or tucking and running than you did maybe at the beginning of the season?
Well, I've always trusted Blake. Blake's got good instincts in terms of, where to throw the ball, timing of throwing the ball. We showed a lot of trust in him when it was 3rd down and 11 or 12 or whatever at the end of the game, and he threw the ball. We come up a yard short on the 1st down and made a good decision on it, but I trust Blake to make good decisions. And he has a great instinct and a great feel for, as most sort of scrambling quarterbacks do, when to run. And he made 2 fantastic 3rd down conversions today running the ball. But we trust Blake. We trust him, and especially when he's playing his game and he's not confused, which a couple times on the road this year he got a little bit. But our issues today on offense didn't have anything to do with Blake. Blake played a really good game, I thought. We just didn't get him blocked like we needed to a couple times, and we dropped a few balls that we normally would catch. So we need to clean those things up so we can be a little more consistent and possess the ball a little better.
In the middle of the lane.
Coach, you talked about how you were going to give them hard practices during the week. Everyone said you should rest, and you were like, no, we're going to practice them hard. How hard were the practices, and do you feel like that played a role in how guys respond?
We practice exactly like we practice for every game. If there was a better way to practice, we would do it. I sat in here from the Florida game until now with everybody asking me what a big game it is. This is really a big game. Florida game was a really big game. Ole Miss is really, every game is a really big game. So if there was a better way to do it, why wouldn't we be doing it for those games? We have a routine that our players expect in terms of what we do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When we have an opportunity, we give the players 2 days off. And don't play so many games in a row. I don't like to play more than 4 games in a row without the players having 2 days off, which means we don't practice on Monday, and we're not going to practice this Monday. All right, so gives us time to get healed up and for the players to use the time to, get some rest, and because we got tough games coming up, and we're just like being in the playoffs now. Can't afford to lose, so every game's a big game.
Last one out.
Nick, you talked about the difficult matchup on number 1. Can you speak to Cyrus Jones and how much he's improved and how much the secondary has improved over the course of the season, what that has allowed you to do as a defense?
Right. Well, you know, Cyrus, first of all, has done a really good job all year long for us. I think he's been our best cover corner, and certainly did a good job tonight against a tough matchup, especially size-wise for him. But I do think that early on, you know, we had guys hurt, different combinations in the lineup that sort of affected us, and ended up playing a freshman, you know, Tony Brown, a couple games. But getting Eddie back healthy probably gave us a little more experience, and a guy that has played and made plays. And you know, Landon has been pretty consistent. Nick Perry has improved. You know, Jarek Williams has played well for us in spots, and you know, Gino played a really good game tonight at star. We thought we had to have a little better coverage matchup on the slot, so he did a really good job in the game for us tonight. So I do think our secondary has improved through the course of the year. And getting the picks tonight were big, the turnovers were big, and but I also think that we have minimized explosive plays, all right, which is probably the biggest thing. We didn't have any last week at LSU, and even though they had quite a few yards, you know, they had to go the hard way most of the time.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys, thank you.